2 more people have been arrested for helping inmates who escaped from jail in Louisiana. Here's the latest on the situation as of May 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Louisiana State Police announced Wednesday that they had arrested Courtney Harris, age 32, and Corvante Baptiste, age 38, for allegedly assisting some of the inmates who escaped from Orleans Parish Prison on May 16th. Police believe that Harris was in contact via phone with an inmate before the escape and provided transportation to 2 escapees to multiple locations in New Orleans. All of the inmates she allegedly assisted are still on the run. Baptiste is accused of contacting inmate Corey Boyd via phone and social media and providing Boyd food while he hid in a residence before he was captured on May 20th. Baptiste and Harris were each charged with 1 felony count of being accessories after the fact. They are currently being held at Plaquemines Parish Detention Center, along with Sterling Williams, the Orleans Parish prison maintenance worker who was accused of turning off the water in a cell so the inmates could pull the toilet away from the wall unnoticed, facilitating their escape. Authorities announced Monday that Williams said that he helped the inmates escape because one of them threatened to shank him, though his attorney has since called information in the arrest affidavit a mischaracterization, claiming that Williams turned the water off because there was a clogged toilet in an unused handicapped cell nearby.
Right.
What he stated is that one of the inmates standing there did say something in passing about shanking him. He did not consider that a threat, Williams' lawyer stated. He added, "He's worked in the jail for the past 5 years. Inmates say things. He took it as nothing more than that." As of May 22nd, 5 of the 10 inmates remain at large. This is a developing story. Follow Brute for more updates.
Murderers are on the loose. Now, luckily, 10 of the inmates that escaped out of this Louisiana prison actually was a jail. If you guys haven't been following this story, most people know about this, but if you haven't, then you're going to find this both horrifying, shocking, and hilarious. So let's start off with what's horrifying about this situation. The first thing that's horrifying about this situation is the incompetence of the police department that was in charge of capturing, but also securing to make sure that this type of thing doesn't happen. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. The good news is that 7 of the 10, if you're somebody who doesn't like murderers on the loose, because there's some people who are like, yeah, where's the GoFundMe link, right? That's not me. The good news is that 7 of the 10 of the inmates have been captured. Now, some of you may be asking, Shisha, how do you know that these are all murderers? They're not all murderers, but at least 6 out of 10 were arrested for actually deleting somebody else or attempting to delete somebody else. So who do we congratulate? That's where things get tricky, because they weren't captured because of the genius and efficiency of the police department, but instead, these guys just weren't really that smart at all. Now, you know I was going to talk about it. Of course, call it my bias, whatever you want to call it. When I first heard 10 inmates escape from jail, the first thing I thought to myself, okay, has to be a female CEO. I did not think that they were somehow working with like a maintenance man. And I'll take that. You know, my bias was like, how did they get out? Excuse me for believing the modern women who constantly talk about how men in jail are attractive, more attractive than men who are free. Yeah, I heard this. I said, probably some chicks involved, probably some sexual relations going on there. And they managed to actually pull it off. Turns out the maintenance man, he's the one currently being charged with shutting off the water at the toilet. What toilet? We're talking about this. This was the scene, right? They disconnected the toilet here, this setup with the sink. And the maintenance guy shut off the water so that when they went over here and unscrewed everything, there wouldn't be a mess that would then alarm guards and ruin their escape plan. But the truth is, they didn't really have a plan past just actually getting out. But they did have 2 women here who were willing to risk their future and lives to help these men out. Now, a part of me is hoping that these are family members, even though I believe that good men would say, hey, if I'm going to decide to do this, I don't want to put you at risk. Chances are they're probably not family members. They're probably women who are in relationships with these men before they went in and decided to continue those relationships and associate themselves with men who are willing to make terrible decisions. And now they're suffering the consequences of doing exactly that. Listen, I know there are people that wait for people to come out and people get their lives together. That's not what this is. This is obviously a lack of understanding that you're now a criminal, just like the man who you were waiting for. Maybe you found him on Facebook. and you're just attracted to men in prison overall. My question is always, could you not have found a free man? I mean, look at the chick there at the bottom. She looks like she's actually proud of herself and what she did. She's actually smiling. Let's read a few of these comments, what the people have to say. Top comment here says, like I thought, not her smiling with the dead emoji. Somebody else here added, now they're about to get more time than the ones they helped. Oh, how life works. Didn't I promise you there will be entertainment and laughs with today's episode? Somebody else here says, y'all risked it all and got caught. Somebody else here added, we got to do better. Oh, wow. Is that espresso? Once in a while, a chick will snap out of it. You know what I mean? She'll snap out of it and go, what are we doing? And she did. Somebody else here added, who is we? Don't act like you don't know what she's talking about. There are a portion of women who look at men in this situation and want to help them out and don't realize that just being associated with that lifestyle, that man, if he's somebody who's still willing to break the law, you need to move on. This is not somebody, no, because I know someone's going to say, oh, they were holding him down. Listen, if somebody's going to continue to break the law and they don't want to do better, you should be running fast, not slow. Somebody else here added, I know that's right. We who, somebody else here says, like, we made them help them break out. See, this is the problem, right? People will say something and realize, like, hey, this has to stop. And people act like that issue doesn't exist. Somebody else here says, letting these men, convicts, destroy your lives. This person says easily manipulated. Another person says that's crazy as hell. Another person says that part. Somebody else here added, for my man, season 1, episode 1, New Orleans jail breakout. Somebody else here says, come on now, ladies. Why risk it all? So guys, what happened next? Well, what happened next was the head of the crime victims unit, Mento Gibson, that's the lady there in the glasses that the internet are joking about, claiming that she stole them from Green Lantern. She made a statement. Let's check it out. It gets crazy from here.
Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately gathered a team of experienced staff and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are.
She started calling the victims. Who are the victims? People who they probably tried to delete. Take off the face of the planet Earth. Maybe prosecutors. People started to flee the city. Like what? like what's going on? What do you mean he's out? That's a lot of cases. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of angry men walking the city.
We additionally sent our detectives to their homes for more safety measures, and that alone speaks measures.
You know what speaks measures? Wearing glasses you stole from the Green Lantern.
You guys think this is bad. This lady did her job, but those glasses were definitely going to draw attention, right, to the very serious situation. This is why things like dress code, I believe, are so important. Some people are aware of those things. Some people really aren't. Who a lot of people are saying, and by the way, I know the top here says chief of police. This lady's not the chief of police. Again, she's captain of a separate department, different department. But who a lot of people are saying is the real screw up in the police is the chief of police. This is her. This is Ann Kirkpatrick. Technically, in the NOPD, they don't really have a chief of police. They call her the superintendent. But same roles, same everything, in charge of the police department and reports to the mayor. The problem is when you think of something like this, a situation where 10 inmates, very dangerous inmates, have escaped, you're thinking to yourself, okay, who's in charge and can they handle this? And whether they can handle this or not is based on their track record. So what is the chief of police here's track record? Well, first off, I'll take you guys back to New Year's. This last New Year's, it was actually a terror attack. It was horrible. And a lot of lives were lost. As you'd expect, Ann Kirkpatrick had to step in and they had to figure out what they had to do to prevent something like this from happening again. A truck run into a group of people, taking many lives. And here she is sharing her solution. Check it out.
Among those flowers, barriers were also placed on the strip as an extra safety precaution.
You will see yellow, what we call archers, and they're along the sidewalk. And that would be to be preventive if someone had, or if this particular terrorist went around up on the sidewalk, that's what that would do.
So you guys saw the yellow equipment right there. Those were the barriers that they placed so that when they have like a group of people that may be celebrating a New Year's or something similar to that, they would have a divide between vehicles and pedestrians, right? You might be wondering, well, Chisha, what's the problem? This actually sounds like a pretty good solution. But here's the only problem. In a separate video, as they're questioning her about where these dividers to protect the pedestrians and the citizens came from, she said, well, I didn't know we had them. I guess we've always had them this whole time. And so that led people to think, oh, so these are measures that could have been taken and you needed something tragic to happen in order for you to take those measures. And of course, she faced a lot of backlash and she had to drink that coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Now you might be saying, Chisha, what's the problem? Everybody makes mistakes. Well, okay, I get it. Trying to stop someone from ramming their truck into a group of people, something that's probably really challenging to do. But how about stopping yourself from ramming into innocent pedestrians walking the street? Oh, yeah. Check it out.
Hearing now from NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick for the first time about a weekend crash where she hit 2 people.
Well, Kirkpatrick was returning home at the time after visiting an injured officer at the hospital when she hit a man and a woman at the intersection of Decatur and Iberville Streets Saturday night. She said she made a terrible mistake and she's already reached out to the victims.
Now, there's nothing about this that's funny. It's the irony in this, right? So the next thing people usually assume when they hear me talk like this is like, you think women can't be chief of police. There are plenty of female chief of police. I don't think that. I actually take a very lax approach to certain issues. This is one of the issues. I'm not somebody who says women don't belong anywhere in the military or women shouldn't be leaders or they can't be a female president. I'm not somebody who thinks that. I think it would take a very unique woman to be a female president, but I think it can be done. Do I think some women do make great leaders? Yes. Do I think more men do? I do. Do I think that there are things that women are better at than men? I do. But we live in this world where everybody's a blanket slate and they can do whatever they want. What am I trying to say? Obviously, at some point, this has little to do with whether she's a woman or not and has to do with has she proven that she's not that competent in her leadership. Listen, I respect and appreciate the police. I do. I appreciate the police. I appreciate the military. Any person who's out here risking their lives for other people, I appreciate very, very much and respect. Yes.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
But I think this is just crazy.
I did call the 2 young people yesterday and left a message. I asked if I could come and bring them flowers and personally apologize again, although I did on the scene. And we haven't made that connection, and they may not be comfortable.
And Kirkpatrick took a breathalyzer test and urine analysis. The breathalyzer returned a blood alcohol concentration of 0.00%, according to NOPD.
They thought, no way, you must be drunk out of your mind. And so in reaction to her crashing into innocent pedestrians walking the street, they decide to award her with some type of women's leadership award. Where is it? We just saw the picture. We got to find it. Here it is. Some type of award for her leadership and for her being a woman. There she is accepting her award. So when I said to you guys, they managed to catch these inmates due to these inmates not being that intelligent, now you probably understand more of what I mean. Here's more proof of that.
Man, y'all go ahead and wrap them parlays up, bro. Wrap them up. These niggas is not smart. They dumb as hell. They all going back to jail. Because what are these men doing on surveillance footage walking around together? Insane. I'm about to roll the clip. Bro, these dudes walking around New Orleans together. No mask, no hoodies, no face coverings, nothing.
They're wearing the same outfits they escaped. They escaped jail with. They're literally matching.
And they're together, just walking through the streets on camera. Wrap it up. These dudes going back to the pen. A lot of y'all had y'all money on Derek being the last one being caught, but no, I'm sorry. These men have no sense whatsoever. The fact they're still in the city, at this point, they're not getting out. It's too late. Everybody on the look for you. Clearly, y'all had no plan. Y'all just broke out. Y'all might as well go walk back to jail and turn yourselves in, because at this point, you ain't getting away. If they was smart, they would have their baby moms or a family member or someone turn them in, so at least they people could get the reward money, because these guys ain't getting away. Parlays are cooked. Let's wrap it up.
You hear what she said right there? She said if they were smart, they would have one of their baby moms or their family turn them in. That's somebody who thinks of others first and how others can benefit before they think of themselves. That is not going to be somebody who's willing to break the law again, right? None of that makes sense. From what it looks like, it's only a matter of time before every single last one of them gets caught. Like I said, they've already caught 7 out of 10. One guy went straight home and pretty much went on with his life like regular. The photo there that you guys saw where they wrote stuff on the wall, they said it was too easy, spelled 2-T-O, and I believe it. Especially what we've seen here coming out of the police department. Guys, of course, as always, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Now, to my guys who are engaged, soon to be married, or maybe proposing soon, if you're thinking about prenups and you'd like a prenuptial agreement for your marriage but don't know where to start, head over to fathershaverights.com. Access our guide, which shows you how to start and how to finish correctly. All our information is provided to you by expert attorneys. You know the risk when it comes to marriage and the legal repercussions. Protect your marriage. And that starts with fathershaverights.com. I appreciate you guys. As always, till next time, I'm out. Peace.